Hey guys, welcome to part 2. We still have a lot to go over, so let's jump right into it with our first tip of part 2. Alright guys, our next tip is make sure you have enough space on your hard drive. Now, everyone should probably know how to access your hard drive, and not only that, you should probably have a pretty good idea of how much space you have used up on your hard drive. If not, click Start on the bottom left side of the screen while you're on your desktop, click Computer, and then see my hard drive is here. It says I have 44.1 gigabytes free of 74.4. So 74 is our max amount of gigabytes, which by today's standards is pretty low. Like, a lot of computers boast like 600 gigabyte hard drives, and that usually comes about standard. I think today maybe the standard is 300 gigabytes, but I don't know. Regardless, 74.4 is not a lot. The lower your max amount of memory on your hard drive, the slower your computer will run. But the thing that really matters the most is how much you have taken up. Because how much you have taken up, the more you have, the more you're prone to having your files fragmented, and files can get lost, and it's a big mess, and your computer just tends to run slower while you have a hard drive that's almost full. So never ever exceed, never have only 10 gigabytes open. Try to keep it at least 50 if you can. I'm breaking that rule, but that's probably why my computer isn't the fastest in the world. But make sure your hard drive has enough space on it. Hi guys, next tip, beware of the svchost.exe. You can find out if this is going to be a problem for you if you go down to your taskbar, which is this down here where you'll see your start button and everything, and you right click that and you click Start Task Manager. Once Windows Task Manager pops up, you want to go to the Processes tab, and under the Processes tab, if you see something called svchost.exe and you see multiple of them and they're all using a lot of memory, which you can see here, they're all using a lot of memory, you will want to look up on Google svchost.exe and try to find out how you can remove this malware from your computer. Malware has disguised itself as the SVC host that carries the System32 files that are necessary for your computer to be running efficiently. And so that malware disguises itself as that, and you need to see if you can remove that malware, because when that malware is on your computer, your CPU usage and your RAM usage will be at 100% almost every time. Your computer will be so loud from the fans preventing your computer from overheating, it will be like you're using your computer for gaming. It would sound ridiculous. And that could be the absolute 100% reason why your computer is so slow. So many of my friends, and even me at one point, had this svchost.exe malware bug for a long time. And I would advise, if you have a lot of these System32 icons and they're all taking up a lot of memory from your Processes tab, I would really advise looking it up on Google on how to remove it. Next tip. Alright guys, next tip is check your computer's RAM. Now, RAM on a computer is the random access memory. Random access memory is very important to your computer. Random access memory can actually be upgraded really cheap. I got a gigabyte of RAM for about 20 bucks. I got a whole gigabyte boost for my RAM for about $20, and you can do it off the internet. But first, before that, you really have to do your research so you know what kind of RAM cartridges to be buying, and you want to know what the max amount of RAM you can have for each RAM slot in your computer. So this can be found out simply by just doing the research online. You can just type the make and model of your computer into Google, and usually, like for example on mine, your computer will have your computer's make, I'm sorry, like HP for mine. They have websites that are dedicated to giving you the specifications on your computers, and this one is for my Compaq NC6120. Basically, type your make in on the on Google, and it'll show us all of these specifications. Now, what I want you guys to do is just to keep going down and try to find where it gives you the information on your memory. And memory you see here, and make sure it's not saying hard drive memory or anything. This is the random access memory, or people just refer to it in, like in this example, memory. It says that we can upgrade it to 1 gigabyte slots in each 1 gigabyte cartridges in each slot. See, 1024 megabyte SODIMM in slots 1 and 2. So we can have a max of 2 gigabytes of RAM on our computer. There's two, and you can see here, there's 2 SODIMM slots. So all you have to do basically now, go to Google, go to eBay or something, or if you have a computer store that you prefer, regardless. Now it's a matter of finding the parts, and I'm sure you guys can do that by yourselves. Type in exactly what I showed you. You guys, if there's only 1 gigabyte allowance for each slot, obviously you want to buy a 2 1 gigabyte cartridges that are SODIMM and 333 megahertz DDR. Okay, type that in, buy the part, and then someone else will have a different tutorial on how to fix it, or maybe you have another computer guy. The reason I can't tell you how to do it is because different computers have RAM in different places. And make sure you're buying the right one for you. Don't buy desktop RAM if you have a laptop, because it won't fit. So do the research on it, and then now I just helped you basically do the starting steps on how to upgrade your RAM. It's kind of a process you have to do by yourself, but I hope you found that information helpful. Now we're on to our next tip. Next tip can be found on pretty much the same exact page you were just on to try to find information on your RAM if you didn't know it already. And this is processors. Processors are another essential thing to the speed and reliability of your computer. I bought a new RAM chip and put it in my computer, and it really helped out on the speed of my computer. The computer just seemed to run better. The fans were on literally like half the time. The computer wasn't running as hard as it was, and it drastically helped. By the way, I want to mention also, I want to say that my computer probably looks like it's running pretty slow right now, and that's because I'm recording. So I apologize for that. It probably seems stupid that I'm giving tips on computers and mine looks like it's running slow as hell. But regardless, okay, you can see that there's all these different processors that are compatible with our computer. You can see what I can tell you guys is the higher the gigahertz, which is GHz, the higher the gigahertz, the better. I had a 1.73 gigahertz processor in my computer before. Now I have a 2.13, and you know, a 0.6, you know, a whole half of a gigahertz increase is pretty drastic, judging by the fact that we only had 1.5 of those on our computer. Now we have, you know, 2.13. So it's a pretty drastic increase, and it'll increase the speed of your computer. I felt I should mention this, you know, with the RAM, because it's on the same website. So hopefully you guys didn't, you know, turn off the website or whatever, you know, back out of it. Okay, we're on to our next tip.